As a recreational player, not much thought is given while buying a new badminton racket. But as you start practicing, you came to know that racket can play a significant role in your performance. In this video, I will be telling you each and every aspect of a racket which you need to have knowledge of to buy a new racket which will suit your playing style. If you are in a hurry and don't want to watch this full video, you can also click the link in the description where I have selected my personal favorite badminton racket and also divided them into 3 playing style. Badminton racket can be divided into 3 parts: head, shaft and handle. So I'm going to explain how each of these parts affect the overall performance of a racket. So first let's get an overview of what you need to look at while buying a new badminton racket. The weight of the racket, flexibility, material which is it made of, tensile strength of the frame, length of handle, balance of racket and head shape. Now first is weight of racket. Most standard badminton racket usually weigh between 85 to 92 grams without string and grip. Racket which weighs much heavier are good for a powerful play, while light racket gives you better control. So now the question is, how much weight is good for a racket? Well, it depends on what type of skill you are having and how much command you have on your technique. Because if you go for a heavy racket but your arm pronation is not perfect, then chances are high to injure your shoulder. So I would recommend to go for a lighter racket if you are a beginner. First work on your technique. When you start to gain confidence in your stroke, buy a heavy racket. Now these are some pros and cons of heavy and light racket. But one thing to note that when you are going to look online, seller will not specifically mention how much the racket weighs. Instead, they will be using some technical terms which are 5U, 4U, 3U, 2U and U. Now, shaft flexibility. When I was looking to buy a racket for myself and didn't have any knowledge, I watched a couple of videos on YouTube, and now looking back to that information, I cannot believe how much false information is there on the internet about this particular part of racket. So there are some misconceptions. Most people believe that if your racket shaft is flexible, then it is good for smash and a stiff racket is more useful in defense. But this is completely wrong. I'm not going to take the names of YouTuber which is passing this type of information, but if you go to any authoritative site, then you will learn that stiff racket is not that useful in defense and vice versa. The shaft of a badminton racket can be flexible or stiff. It is the area between the handle and the strong area of the frame. For a beginner, the flexible racket is more suitable, as they don't have to exert extra power to play strong shot, while energy is needed, whereas stiff racket is more helpful for intermediate to advanced level player. Here are some advantages of flex and stiff shaft. Now, next factor is material of badminton racket. I remember my first racket was made up of steel. But nowadays, as the technology in the racket is evolving, companies are using more premium material to make their racket superior in the market. Badminton racket can be made up of wood, steel, carbon fiber, aluminium, graphite. But I would never recommend steel and aluminium racket for beginners. They might be available at cheap cost, but trust me, you cannot do much with these rackets. Instead, save money and buy a racket which is at least made up of carbon fiber, so that you can get your racket string with a stringing machine. The material of your racket frame decide how much tension your racket can hold and survive those hits with your partner's racket when you are playing doubles. Now, tensile strength of frame. It is referred to the capacity of your frame to hold wire at a particular tension. In badminton racket, wire tension can range from 18 lbs to 32 lbs. Now before going for higher tension, look at the specification of your racket, how much tension is recommended by the manufacturer. Low wire tension. It is good for beginner as they don't put much pressure on your frame, automatically keeping your racket safe from breakage. Also, low tension wire has more durability. High wire tension is good for intermediate and advanced player because now you know how to control shuttle. In high tension, shuttle will spend less time on racket bed, so your stroke will be much faster. But also it will keep your racket frame under stress. So before going for high tension, look at the quality of your frame to avoid any breakage. There are three more factors which you need to also consider, but it would eventually make this video long, so you can click the link in the description to read the full article, and where I have also given graph to understand more easily.